What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into this video. It has officially been 1 full year with the Specialized Tarmac SL8. Today I'm going to go over what it's been like to own this bike, the highs, the lows, and whether I buy it again after a year riding. Let's dive right in. First thing I want to know is what I've done to the bike and what it actually is. It is a 2024 Tarmac SL8 Expert, and the difference between the Expert and the Pro is not the frame, but the components that go on it. And in my case, it came with SRAM Rival D1, aluminum handlebars, standard seat, Revolve C38 wheels. A couple of things those have changed, so let's get into what actually did get swapped out. Starting with the crankset, went from a Rival D1 to a Force D2, 175mm crank down to a 170. Second is the rear derailleur, Rival D1 derailleur to a Force D2. Brake calipers, standard whatever pace line rotor I think that came on the bike. Swapped over to SRAM Red D1 rotors. Next, with the seat, came with a standard Specialized seat. I forgot the exact name of it, but based on my recent bike fit, swapped over to a Shimano Pro Stealth Curved. So far, so good on that. And then lastly, with the handlebars, I swapped them from the standard 44mm aluminum handlebars to a 40cm Prime Primavera Aero handlebar. That's what's done to the bike so far. Lastly, forgot to mention, I swapped the Revolve C38s for these Yoleo NXT2 50mm depth wheels with Continental GP 5000 tires. The first things I want to go off with is the cons. Originally, the price of the bike, was not a huge fan of it. I think for $6,500 you get the standard Rival D1, okay-ish carbon wheels, not the best cockpit, but now given that a lot of companies are kind of roughly the same price nowadays, I would say Specialized isn't really that much of a markup compared to others. Well, if you go for Chinese brands or anything like that, but most of the Western brands, Giant, Cannondale, Trek, so on and so forth, it is not too far off from each other. So depending on the brand that you want, I would say go with that. Now, second con, and my only other con would be, is there is some creaking on the bottom bracket when pushed under load. I've taken apart the bottom bracket once before, re-greased it, and it happens occasionally. So I'm not sure if it's something with that, something I kind of did wrong. That's the only really big cons that I've had. Initially it was the price. Second is the bottom bracket creaking, or I think it's the bottom bracket creaking. I've done work to the pedals or taking them off, re-grease them, and then other areas as well, such as seat posts for carbon paste. Okay, diving into the pros and what I like about the bike, everything about it. The number one thing is comfort. And I think when you are picking up a bike, you want to be comfortable. Unless you're crit racing for like 30, 45 minutes, whatever, a short amount of period of time, it's probably okay to be a little uncomfortable to get some aerodynamic advantage or whatever you're doing to race. But in this particular case, majority of us average consumers are probably looking to spend X amount of dollars on a bike, make sure it's comfortable for them, make sure it fits them, so on and so forth. And with a Tarmac SL8, I highly recommend you try the bike at your local bike shop if you have the opportunity. If you don't, a little bit risky, but 90% of the people that I know that have one enjoy it. So if you do fall into the 10% category, I'm sorry. But first of all, comfort. This is probably the most comfortable road bike I've owned. And not even just swapping out parts here and there like I initially did. Just a stock bike from the bike shop was a lot more comfortable than the custom bike that I've built on my Giant TCR. Other areas, depending on the bike, as long as it fits you, majority of the bike brands have slight changes in their geometry charts. But in this case, Tarmac SL8 feels very, very comfortable. It's compliant, it's smooth over surfaces, but for the most part, as an everyday rider, there's probably gonna be a lot of imperfections in the road anyways. This bike does a really, really good job soaking up that feel. So one category I do wanna talk about is speed and aerodynamics. And I say this about all the bikes I've owned so far, is that this Tarmac holds speed very well. And I say that given from the perspective of an average rider. I don't race, maybe in the future I will. I think for your average fast-paced group rides, this bike is fantastic. And speed can be subjective in the way you look at it. So in the DMV area, we have a lot of flat areas, a lot of rolling hills. I wouldn't say we're like a climbing type of city or area, and I wouldn't say we're completely flat like other states in the South. I think that having this Tarmac strikes that perfect balance of light and fast, where it's smooth between both. So if you want to be faster on the hills, saving those few grams, having that responsiveness of the tarmac is great. But also if you want to be fast on the flats and keep up with other, say, aero bikes like Canyon Aero, Shark Madones, whatever else is out there, this has no problem with doing so. Now for the aerodynamics category, as an average rider, you might not see the things that Specialized notes. You may, depending where you live and how fast you actually ride. But I would say for the average general rider, you probably won't notice the difference. But I do very much enjoy this Tarmac SL8 having that perfect balance. The final question is, would I buy this bike again if I had the opportunity, if I've never bought it before? Given the experience that I've had, or would have passed it off to someone else? 100%. I would highly recommend the Tarmac SL8. I think it's a comfortable bike. I think it's great all arounder. It's lightweight, it's fast, it's smooth. All those categories hit the bill for everything I'm looking for in a bike. But if you have the opportunity to go to your local bike shop to test one out, doesn't matter if it's the Pro model, the Expert model, the S-Works model, they'll all feel similar. The only difference is obviously between the S-Works and the other Pro and Experts is the weight and the name. But the overall ride feel should be the exact same. And of course, test ride other bikes out there. I cannot 100% say that the Tarmac is the best all-rounder or the best one bike to currently own. Some other people may prefer other bikes out there like a Trek Madone, a Super 6 Evo, a Giant TCR, whatever it may be. I am just giving the perspective, obviously, from the Tarmac side. I think it's a great everyday bike. And I hope all this information helps you guys get an idea if you want to move towards one. If you don't, well, or if you just enjoy watching reviews of other people riding bikes. But other than that, thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this review, I appreciate if you hit that like button. If you want to drop a comment below with your thoughts on the SL8 or any other bikes that you had to compare against it. And if you do enjoy this, please subscribe for more cycling content, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks.